Bonjour les amis. Bonjour, bonjour. Impromptu stroll, or at least a short visit from the 9th arrondissement. How are you today? Comment ça va? Hope you can hear me okay. I don't have my usual gear with me. I'm sure you recognize this beautiful building. I am playing hide and seek with a green vehicle that is really loud and cleaning this area right now. Who says Paris is dirty? He's extremely loud, so I'm trying to not be where he is at the same time. That's my challenge right now. I am standing outside the beautiful Opéra Garnier, the main opera house in Paris, of course. Bonjour les amis, bienvenue, bienvenue. This is just an impromptu little hello or stroll. I was in the area for an errand and I thought I would pop in. Or is it pop by? Glorious Parisian architecture here in the heart of the 9th arrondissement. You're all familiar with this, even if you have not been to Paris yet. It's extremely loud around here, it's always been. Traffic is a little slower right now because it's 2 p.m. And a lot of people are working from home these days, that too. But you certainly recognize the trademarks of 19th century Parisian architecture around here. I am on the square outside the Opéra Garnier, and you know, it's several avenues, big boulevards meet here. So this is pretty much Haussmann Central. In fact, Boulevard Haussmann is located nearby. This is the gentleman who completely transformed Paris in the second half of the 19th century. We've talked about him so often on the strolls that we've taken together over the last few months. But this is really Haussmann Central. There's a little friend here you may recognize. You don't expect to see him in Paris, but I thought I'd show him to you. I was surprised when I arrived and I saw him standing here. Let's see, these gentlemen are standing in front of him. Look at that. You know this guy? La Panthère Rose, we call him in French. The Pink Panther. Bonjour à tous, welcome. All right, well, I'll keep moving because we're not going to stand here all afternoon. It's hot today. It's still pretty hot in Paris. I'm wearing a jacket and look at the beautiful Café de la Paix. The scaffolding is finally down. It seems all of Paris has been under construction, and when I came here a few months ago, right before Christmas, I took you on a stroll to show you the Christmas windows, the shopping windows at the Printemps. The Café de la Paix was wrapped up completely in scaffoldings. And I can see that they really brought it back to its former glory. Now all it needs to do is be able to reopen, like all the cafes, restaurants in Paris. One last peek at the Opéra Garnier. This is a nice view of it, with the Café de la Paix, the green awning on the left. Ah, perfect. This is nice. Bonjour et bienvenue if you've just joined. We are on one of the many boulevards intersecting on this square, which is the Boulevard des Capucines, named after an old convent that used to be in this area. A lot of the elegant part of Parisian life in the 19th century happened here, along those boulevards. As you know, this is where the elegant people of Paris strolled in fairly safe surroundings. This is what part of the reason those boulevards were created. And this is still Le Café de la Paix on the right here. It keeps going. There's a really nice dining room. It's not cheap. They have excellent desserts. And you can also just use the cafe. None of it is cheap, but this is not a cheap area in Paris, which is not a cheap city to start with. I'm guessing it will be even less cheap when it reopens after these people haven't been able to work in 6 months now. Oh, there is Véro. Coucou. So I don't have my microphone with me, but I did have my stabilizer. I always have it in my bag, so I thought I'd take it out and film some of this for you. Blue skies, foliage, spring in Paris. It's really nice, even if everything is closed. Typically, the sidewalk would be bustling. There are a lot of tourists in this area and a lot of locals as well when they work in the offices nearby. But right now, of course, it's all gone. Bonjour à tous. I recognize a few names. Some of my club members are here. Bonjour Maria. Bonjour all of you. Welcome. Just a quick stroll, impromptu stroll. Here's a building. I don't know if you recognize it or not. This is well, the sun's facing me, so that's not ideal. We'll do our best. This is an Art Nouveau marvel. You can't really see from where I'm standing, but the facade is beautiful, with ceramic work, with marble, with iron too. Bonjour, bienvenue. If I say La Samaritaine, the name of a very, very famous department store in Paris that's been closed for years and about to reopen by the Seine River, many people don't realize that there were two Samaritaines. One of them was right here. Once the owners of La Samaritaine, Monsieur et Madame G, Cognac G, made it big by the Seine River, they opened this store here, and it was called La Samaritaine de Luxe, the luxury Samaritaine. And the clientele was meant to be the affluent classes in Paris as well as affluent foreigners. You see how some things don't change around here. And it opened right at the turn of the 20th century. Of course, today it's closed. And I think it's just been turned into a luxury hotel, just like the other Samaritaine that's about to reopen. Ah, you're welcome. I'm glad you're enjoying this. So sorry for the poor lighting here, but the sun is literally facing me. I just wanted to show it to you. Monsieur Cognac G was a big art collector. He had a keen interest in 18th century art. And so he opened eventually a Cognac G museum. It's now in the Marais, in a beautiful Hôtel Particulier, a former Hôtel Particulier, beautiful private residence, historic building. But before that, it was originally right here next to La Samaritaine de Luxe. So voila, this is one of the buildings I remember from this area. I used to work around here for American Express a long time ago. Lots of big hotels. That's why you have big crowds typically around here. Hotel Scribe is one of them. It's facing us right now. We are strolling around les grands boulevards, my friends. That is what the elegant people of Paris did in the 19th century, les flâneurs. Walking too fast to be a flâneur right now, but that's okay. I'll try to see. Merci, monsieur. Merci beaucoup. Here is l'Hôtel Scribe, the Hotel Scribe, and its beautiful facade. Imagine renting one of these rooms with that balcony. That's a nice view on the boulevard, isn't it? Le Boulevard des Capucines. So let me say a quick hello. Coucou. Good to see you. I'm going to do this for a sec. Whew. So hot. I just wanted to say a big thank you I posted a message on Facebook this morning asking this community, Friends with Véro, to help me grow my numbers on YouTube and Instagram. I posted a message about that this morning, and many of you have already helped out, so I wanted to say merci beaucoup. This is also one of the reasons I'm doing this little stroll as a thank you to you. I'm in between appointments, but I thought you'd enjoy doing this. Let me switch around so you can see better. Right there is the Olympia. Olympia is one of the most famous concert performance venues in Paris. So many famous artists have performed here over the years, including the Beatles. And here is, oh, I know, we'll turn here. Why don't we turn here? La rue Edouard VII. La rue Edouard VII. You see the name? This is a very peaceful street. I like coming here. I used to like coming here when I worked by the Opera. It will seem even more peaceful than usual because the restaurants lining it are of course closed. At lunchtime typically you'd have people sitting on the sides here meeting colleagues and friends. There's also some shopping, but right now nothing. This has been Paris for months now. It's busier in other neighborhoods than it is here. It really depends on the neighborhood and how much it relied on tourism, I would think. This is one of the most elegant squares in Paris, but it's very easy to miss. And a very popular theater that's been here for a really long time is here. On the right, you see it, Le Théâtre Edouard VII, Edward VII. It's named after the gentleman you see riding this horse, King of England, who was Edward VII, who was a big Paris fan. He loved Paris, he loved the food, the wine, and the women of Paris. He was notorious for it. He spent a lot of time in France. And so this square has been named after him. And the theater as well. The theater opened before World War I, and let's just say it's been managed by some of the most famous in the French theater world, some of the most famous actors, directors, screenplay writers have gone through the doors of the Edward VII Theater. Last time I was here for a play was probably about 3 years ago. It's a beautiful, beautiful theater, very Parisian. The show is as much around you as it is on the stage. And in fact, one of the perks, if you know a little bit about French theater, is to go around, to go inside the theater, then to go around the different rooms, because you have posters of previous plays through the decades, you know, dating back to the early 20th century, and you realize all the big names that were here, all those famous actors and actresses. And I can see they're featuring a play. I bet it never happened, really. Oh yeah, I know those guys. They're kind of funny actors. It's a comedy. It was supposed to start on December 12th. Well, I'm guessing they just left it up there, but that's about when they closed. Or maybe they mean this December? I'm not sure. Theaters have been closed for a long time. It wasn't a highbrow theater, actually. It was well known for a style that was called the théâtre de boulevard, the type of theater plays that you stage that are supposed to be entertaining and funny, nothing intellectual, and that's what this theater did for a really long time. Well, I could have gone the other way. Oh, that's okay. I'll just go here. So I'll just keep strolling for a few minutes along the Boulevard des Capucines that eventually turns into the Boulevard de la Madeleine and connects with the Madeleine Church. And if you keep going all the way straight ahead, you reach the Place de la Concorde, the Tuileries Gardens, the Louvre eventually if you go left, the Champs-Élysées if you go right. So this is really the heart of Paris, the heart of downtown Paris. Unusual to see it this peaceful though, isn't it? Hope you're enjoying this little impromptu stroll. I am, because I haven't been here for a while. Yeah, you're right. It's usually very animated. You can really tell the difference between neighborhoods like the one I live, where a lot of locals live, and the neighborhoods that really rely on tourism, because those are completely dead and have been for months. There are offices around here, but since so many people are working from home, have to work from home, then really it seems positively empty. Here is the Olympia I just told you about earlier. A lot of famous people and buildings. Famous people lived along the street, this boulevard, as well as you had buildings that are gone now, but that used to be here. You could actually do a stroll along this boulevard and tell many, many stories about the past. Hey, maybe I'll do that one day on a weekend that I'm visiting from Tours. That would be a good idea. What do you think? A stroll along the Boulevard des Capucines, traveling back in time, remembering the famous people, famous or not so famous people who lived around here. Today is Tuesday, and you can see a lot of the boutiques are closed, like Lipo, the famous brand of French travel bags and accessories. That's because all non-essential stores have been closed for weeks. So you can only order online or do click and collect. So you order online and you pick it up at the store. Chocolate stores on the other end, La Maison du Chocolat, are open, because I guess in France they are considered essential. A lot of these rules make absolutely no sense to a lot of people, and you can definitely tell that people are getting very, very tired of the current situation. A lot of us are not really seeing an end in sight, with the vaccination campaign being as slow as it's been. Thought I'd share some thoughts as well about the news this week, the beginning of the week, that the EU was going to reopen to American travelers, providing they're vaccinated, as early as late May and possibly the summer. I just want you to know that here in France, at least, a lot of people were scratching their heads when they heard that. We haven't gotten our museums, cafes, restaurants back. They're talking about reopening a few things by mid-May, by region, based on COVID stats, I guess. Cases are still going up in Paris and in France. Nobody's on top of that situation, apparently. And we were all kind of scratching our heads when they announced that, American travelers and other travelers would be allowed back into the EU as early as the summer. That's a little bit hard to believe. I don't know how they're going to pull that off. I know you're all impatient to return. You've missed Paris, France, and other European countries. But right now, it really feels like we haven't made that much progress here in France, at least. I thought I'd be upfront about that. Here's a beautiful site, the entrance of the metro, and those are pretty different entrances compared to the ones we see all around Paris. We are at the Place de la Madeleine, and what you see here is, of course, the Madeleine Church. Yeah, I would agree that the reopening seems to be for economic reasons, and I'm not sure how they're going to pull that off. Personally, I wouldn't travel to a country whose restaurants are still closed, especially Paris, museums and so forth. And if they decide to reopen based on regions, based on how regions are doing in terms of COVID, then logically, Paris should probably open last. I'm curious to see if that's what's going to happen. Wait and see, I guess, huh? Sorry if that's not what you want to hear, if you're disappointed. But if you are on social media right now this week, that's basically what you can see people saying, locals, not just French people, expats as well. Everybody's like, really? This big scaffolding you see here used to be a famous landmark around the square, which was the store known as Fauchon. And Fauchon was a really high-end grocery store. And they've lost a lot of money over the last few years, and they announced last year that they were closing some of their stores. I don't think they're completely closed, but this one is clearly going to be something else. A new concept store, it says. Construction everywhere. This is Paris these days. Bonjour à tous, if you just joined us, this is a quick impromptu stroll in Paris. I was in the area, so I thought you might enjoy seeing what I'm seeing. This is not the cleanest side of the church, the Madeleine church. If it looks like a Roman temple, it's because this version of the church was built at the very beginning of the 19th century by Napoleon I, and he meant it to look like a Roman temple dedicated to his armies. It later became a church, a Catholic church, during the period known as the Restoration, when French kings returned. But originally, that's what it was supposed to be. And it does look like a Greek temple. The wrapping of the Arc de Triomphe in September, well, that would depend on whether culture returns to the city of Paris and to the rest of France, I guess. They had been talking about that, but I have no idea if it will actually happen. Most reopenings of museums, the ones that had been undergoing renovations, like the Carnavalet, Victor Hugo Museum, have been rescheduled for a while now. Somebody just almost ran over me. This guy, he's going way too fast. Here is Edouard. They are working on their facade. Edouard has typically been the big competitor of Fauchon. So they kind of shared the same square, La Place de la Madeleine. Edouard was on this side, and Fauchon used to be on that side in another location too. And it was funny because Parisians would, you'd have Parisians who were Fauchon people, and then you'd have Parisians who were Edouard customers. Whoa, many of you have joined. I hadn't looked at the numbers for a while because of the sun. Thanks for being here. Just a little impromptu stroll. I know you miss Paris and France a lot, and when I can, I try and give you some peeks at what's around me. By now, you must have heard I was moving soon. I'm moving next Thursday, in fact, in a little over a week, to the beautiful city of Tours in the Loire Valley. It's about an hour and 10 minutes from Paris by TGV, so I'll keep a foot in Paris, of course. But my new life will be based in the Loire Valley, and I'm very much looking forward to it. I'm planning to share my adventures with you, as always. I tell you, it's really... Oh, look at that. That's sad. An empty terrace. Yep. So they are talking about reopening progressively, starting in the first half of May. The regions that have been doing better, like Brittany, should reopen first. I am very curious to see what's going to happen with Paris, to be honest. I'm waiting and seeing on that one. Oops. I am going to walk along the street because it takes me back home. Okay, well, I guess we can do this. Merci, monsieur. Ah, shade. Lovely. Ooh, beautiful door alert. Look at that. Oh, you'll have lots of impromptu strolls in Tours and in the Loire Valley, not to worry. As well as during my upcoming French travels, as soon as I can make them happen. I don't think I'll be on the road a lot this summer because I'll be busy moving into my new condo that I just bought where I have to do some work. I have zero furniture. I moved back from France 2 years ago with 8 boxes and no furniture. So it is a brand new life with brand new furniture, which I guess is perfect. Oop, merci monsieur. Bonjour, if you just joined, we're just strolling. We were in the 9th arrondissement. We started by the Opéra Garnier, the opera house, went by the beautiful square Edouard VII, and now we are in the 8th along Boulevard Malesherbes. It's taking me back to the 17th arrondissement, which is why I'm here. This is quite impromptu, so I'm letting you enjoy the sights. I know, buying new furniture, new everything really. I don't even have plates or glasses. Well, I have a few things that I bought in the last 2 years, but not much. Look at this Haussmann building here. It's missing a floor actually to be really Haussmann, but we're not going to be picky. We're not. This is about as Parisian as it gets. At least that's what people associate with Paris, this type of neighborhood. Those big wide avenues and the buildings alongside. This is 19th century Paris, and that's what it's very well known for. Yes, I think I'll be able to entertain in my new home. It's not very big, that condo, but it's a lot bigger than what I've had in Paris since I returned, I can tell you that. You may remember that 2 years ago I started with a furnished studio that was 215 square feet under Parisian rooftops, and this was quite something. But since I was on the road so much as a Rick Steves Europe tour guide, I didn't really mind, plus the views were beautiful and it was very peaceful. So it all worked out, and now I live in the 17th arrondissement in another furnished apartment that's slightly larger. I've been there for 6 months. And next week I'll be moving to Tours. First in a furnished apartment for a couple months in the heart of the historic old town, and by the end of June I'll have the keys to my condo, hopefully, and get to work. I'm only telling you all this because, not to overshare, but because some people in this community, friends with Véro, have been following me for years. I've been here on Facebook for 10 years now, and some of you have been with me since the beginning, and you have followed a lot of my life, so that is why I'm sharing all that information. Geez, yes, Kat, I hope you're right. Quiet neighbors is what I need after what I've been through in the 17th arrondissement. It has been a nightmare. More construction, you can hear it behind me. At least you have pretty sights to look at. So there will not be a live stroll this weekend. This weekend is May 1st, which is a bank holiday in France. It's Labor Day, and I'm actually taking the day off before the big push for the move next week. But I will be taking my club members, Friends with Véro club members, on an exclusive stroll. This will be the 7th live stroll they've joined this month in April, as we celebrate the 1-year anniversary of this business, Friends with Véro. We will do it on YouTube. There is still time to join the club. I guarantee you'll get lots of behind-the-scenes peeks at my new life as well when you join. Look me up on Patreon. All that information is easy to find. Oh boy, loud, loud, loud. I'm going to say goodbye at the end of the street, in case you're wondering how long this is going to last. You probably have things to do in your part of the world. Hey Roz, I see some of my friends here. I was hoping to catch some Australians, but I got a late start. I'm sure a lot of you will flock back to France, Paris first, and then the rest of France, hopefully, in the next few months. Certainly in 2022, I expect the tourist season will pick up definitely then. Paris is going to be one jammed, crowded city. Ooh, this is Paul, a boulangerie chain you've seen, especially if you go to French train stations. Was born outside Lille in northern France, where I've taken you before. Look at the beautiful bread, nicely arranged. This is this tradition of window displays, right? So even a chain like Paul insists on having... Oh, I'm glad I have some Australians here. Thank you for being here. I know it's late for you. Yeah, even a chain like Paul insists on having impeccable window displays. So quiet. If it weren't for the cars, it'd be heavenly. A little too quiet, maybe. Let's just say. So again, thank you to those of you who have already read my message, the one I posted here earlier today, where I asked people to help me push up the numbers on my YouTube channel and my Instagram account. I'm going to try and develop those two channels in the next few months, which I haven't done much in the past. So thank you for subscribing and sharing with friends if you enjoy the content that I share on social media every day and on YouTube very often. I don't know if you realize that on the Friends with Véro YouTube channel, there are hours and hours of replays of virtual tours I've taken you on for the last year, as well as other videos, and the content is also in French. So on a rainy day, if you have nothing to say and miss Paris and France, I urge you to head there and subscribe so you'll know when I'm posting new things. And thank you for your help in bringing those numbers up. Here is the beautiful church of the Saint-Augustin. L'église des Augustins is the official name. So we are again here at the intersection of several very, very busy streets and boulevards. Boulevard Haussmann is actually here too. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed the replays, Laura. Thank you. Saint-Augustin is the name of that gorgeous church. The building across from it belongs to the French army. It's magnificent. The architecture is quite impressive. So I think I'm going to cross over there and then I'll say goodbye from that side. And I want to say thank you for joining me. This was completely impromptu and we have, oh boy, we have almost 160 people here. Thank you. Don't want to be jaywalking, not here. Let's find a shaded spot so I can say goodbye properly. See, it's still Paris. Don't despair. Look at all the traffic. It's still crazy. That's one thing that will never change. glad it made you smile. I'm glad. I'm glad it cheered you up. I'm glad it brought you back to Paris for a few minutes. I don't know how long we've been going for. It's been longer than I expected. It usually is. That's Joan of Arc, that statue outside the church. Isn't that pretty? So if I do this, I can say goodbye to you. Like so. Voila. Thank you for joining me today, friends, for that impromptu, whatever it was, stroll, catch up, thank you message. Remember, you can join our stroll on Friday. We're going to a secret neighborhood in Paris that's not too far from where I live. I'm taking club members there. There's still time to join the club. And I hope you continue following my adventures in Tours, in the Loire Valley. And in the meantime, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Instagram. I'm starting to sound like an influencer. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Anyway, merci beaucoup. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Let me turn it back for one last peek at the beautiful church. Ah, we have a truck in the way, but still, voila. À bientôt, friends.